Hey guys, how's it going? So today is the day of the first video for the channel after I've gone through what I wanted to do with it. We're going to be looking at my skates and a mod that I've done to them, changing the cuff. So first things first, these are my skates. I skate the Remz HR 2.5s. They come all black, but I've added some white soles just to change it up a bit. So when I first got these skates, I really liked just how sort of clean and tidy they were, nice and just all black, nice and smart. The only difference I've noticed between these and the last pair, they've done two things. They used to have perforated holes through the skin, which wasn't very good. It started tearing and you'd get, the laces would start going through the skin and start like ripping it apart, so it wasn't very good. And there's also in the skin a thicker bit of plastic. I don't know if it was there before, but there's now a thick layer of plastic in the skin, so that gives you more support around the back and the cuff and the ankle. My thoughts overall on the changes they've made is I like the changes with the perforated skin. That's gone, so your boot's not going to just tear apart because you're trying to tighten it up. I like the extra support, you can't ever go wrong with that. Remz do need as much support as you can get. They're an amazing feeling skate, but I do like to have my skates tight and as supportive as possible. One thing they have removed, which I really hate, is they used to have holes in the skin for your buckle and your receiver to come through. They're now gone because they've replaced it with a strap. The strap, as soon as I get my skates, I take that straight off. This is a strap. It's really good Velcro, don't get me wrong. Really thick. It holds really well, but for the shape of my leg, my ankle and my leg are not thick enough. So I can't even tighten it properly. I've got to tighten it all the way past the Velcro and it just doesn't work. So yeah, that comes straight off and I throw a buckle on. Plus you can tighten it up and have more support, I think. Before we get on to the change of cuffs and the way of doing that, I want to just go over the skate and my thoughts generally on the parts, and if that helps you decide if you want to skate a pair or try a pair or anything like that. I'll start from the bottom up. I just skate ground control frames. You can skate whatever frames you want, so that doesn't really matter too much. I chuck in normally like 60mm wheels, about 88, 90 hardness, so they don't feel horrible and slippy. They just give you a good amount of grip. You need to buy them more often, but it's not the biggest problem in the world. I'm skating Moonshine anti-rockers at the moment with bearings in the middle. They're absolutely solid, they're fantastic, and they slide fast. They're made of the proper hard plastic. UHMW or UHWM, something, whatever it's called. So that's like proper good hard plastic, not like some companies, they make a hard plastic outside and I don't know what they put in the middle, but they just disintegrate as soon as you touch a ledge. They just fall apart, they're absolute rubbish. For the sole plate, the Remz come with, I'd say, one of the bigger sole plates you can get, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's easier to lock tricks, I guess. The backside plate, however, is rubbish. It's not rubbish, I just feel that it's not as deep or as grooved as it probably should be. They should probably update the sole plate. They should, I'd imagine, do what Razors has done. Chop the bottom of the boot off, stick a one-piece sole plate, or the bottom sole straight on. So you remove a whole layer of plastic, change the groove up, get a deeper groove in here. But you could easily do that, shave a bit of weight off it. With these skates, I'm just skating some rain liners. The Remz do come with really quite padded liners. I tried them, I broke them in, took about 3 or 4 long sessions. Then they started to feel good. To start with, they're really thick and they feel like your skate's bulging out and you can't tighten it up properly. But so you do need to break them in. A lot of people try them and they say they're just horrible and fat and a bit bulky, but once you tighten them up and get them broken in, they're all good. And one last thing is, people do talk about the weight. It's a heavier skate. It's not the heaviest skate you get, but it is a bit heavier than some of the skates. But I like that. I feel it gives me momentum when I'm doing my tricks. Like you jump into your tricks and your feet kind of pull you along. Or if you're doing a spin, it gives you that rotation momentum to keep going around. I can't skate carbon skates, they're too light. I feel like I'm missing tricks, I overshoot stuff. With these, they're just solid. When you lock into stuff, you know you've locked into it, you're not like flying over it and that sort of thing. Right, onto the cuff mod. So I believe this was originally started by, I think, well, or made sort of, not famous, but more aware, by Ollie Jones. He's a Remz skater from the UK. Since they've removed the buckle holes on the skin, it was annoying me, so I decided to give this a go. This is the first time I've ever tried it, and it has worked amazingly. It's a bit tricky to get the cuff on, but I'll show you the steps I went through. But once you get it on and get it all sorted, it works, it's brilliant. It does give you some more support. Not too much, just a little bit. The plastic's still pretty flexible. You can really easily bend the plastic, so it's not like the craziest support in the world. I've also gone for the low cut cuff. The V cut lines up perfectly with the rain liner, so you don't have any of that weird sort of hard plastic hitting the back of your ankle, back of your leg. So grudgingly, I'm going to take this off, and I say that because it's an actual pain to get on. So you're going to need your standard Allen keys for all your skates. So the first thing you want to do is take your normal cuff off the Remz from the inside, under your bolts, take the cuff out, get rid of that. The second thing you want to do is get yourself a Stanley blade.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
They're probably the best to use. I wouldn't use scissors, I'd use a nice sharp Stanley blade. It's very easy to go through the plastic and the leather, so take your time. I'll show you where to cut. So once you've taken the Remz cuff out, get your Stanley blade. I've gone round from just underneath the lowest, I think the highest you can get is just below this rubber Remz logo. So just go under that and come up around. And I've gone in line with the seam on the skate here and only taken the top eyelet off. Same on both sides, just a nice clean cut from just under the rubber up and under the first eyelet. Once you've taken that off, it'll look something like this. Once you've taken the skin off, the back of your skate will look a complete mess. The second thing I suggest doing, you don't need to do this, but you get a lot of extra fabric at the top from the tongue once you've done this, because it doesn't really go anywhere. So you just end up with the tongue sort of like scrunching up on the top of your liner, and that's not great. So I've cut the tongue off the skates as well. There's two seams down the tongue. I've taken it just above one of the seams. That's probably the best place to do it, so your tongue doesn't fray apart. I think if you go below that, it could start pulling apart really nasty and make a mess of the tongue later on. So this is the only two bits you need to cut off your skate: the back around the cuff and the bit of the tongue just to tidy it up. And that's all there is to it. Dead simple, straightforward. You will be left with a little bit here. It doesn't bother me, it sticks out from the back of the skate, but you don't really notice it once the cuff's on, so it's not crazy bad. Now the worst bit is getting the cuff on. I highly suggest getting somebody to help you with this. It's a complete pain. Right, so get the cuff back on. I leave the liner in, so it's pushing the cuff bolts back out so they don't fall in. I put one cuff bolt on, leave it loose, and then slide it so the cuff bolt is on the outside of the cuff and it's slightly further forward, so you can get the cuff further around back the other side. Once you get around to the other side, this is the real pain, and you could definitely use someone to give you a hand. If you don't have anyone to give you a hand, you could use an Allen key or push the cuff over, and then hopefully you can just thread the bolt just enough to catch it. Once you've got both bolts caught, then it's easy, job done, sorted. Once you tighten it up, both bolts will pull the cuff into place. So that is how to modify your Remz cuff so you don't need to deal with the skin. You can get your buckle on and off really easy, and it just makes everything a lot more streamlined. You can tighten your skate up more, I think, and you don't have this big kind of bulky skin at the top. What I've also done is I've taken the extra laces that normally go through the eyelets on the skin and put them through the liner. It works well with the rain liners because obviously they have eyelets, if you can see that. So you get that nice and tight all the way through the skin, up the liner, tighten it all up so the whole boot is nice and tight. But all in all, that's my impressions on the new Remz HR 2.5 and how to modify the cuff so it's on the outside. If you want a really good deep dive breakdown of the Remz 2.5, have a look at Kellett's video. He speaks about it at length of all the new bits, detailed, really good review. So I'd highly suggest having a look at that if you're considering trying out a pair of Remz. Until next time, see you later. Right, bye.